The house was quiet that Saturday morning, sunlight spilling gently through the blinds as I set a basket of laundry on the couch. I had been planning to spend the day cleaning, maybe baking something later, but my plans shifted when I heard my son Matthew call out from his room upstairs. His voice was warm, but carried the slight tone of hesitation that I'd learned to recognize over the years. "Mom, can you give me a hand for a minute?" he called down. I tucked a strand of hair behind my ear and carried myself upstairs, not expecting anything extraordinary. Matthew was in his junior year of high school, and more often than not, his requests for help were practical things: organizing school projects, sorting his closet, or sometimes just fixing something small in his room. But that day turned out to be different, and I didn't realize it until much later when I replayed every detail in my head. When I walked into his room, I saw him sitting cross-legged on the floor, a cardboard box in front of him. Around him were scattered stacks of books, photo albums, and a few old toys that had been tucked away for years. The box looked like something we hadn't touched in ages. Dust settled on the edges, and the handwriting on the side, Matthew's things, was in my own script from nearly a decade ago. "Where did you find that?" I asked, smiling as I knelt beside him. "In the attic," he said, brushing dust off the top of an album. I thought maybe we could go through it together. I didn't want to mess it up on my own. My heart softened instantly. Teenagers don't always want to spend time with their parents, especially when they're 17 and eager to carve out their own space in the world. The fact that Matthew wanted me there, sitting with him as he sorted through pieces of his childhood, felt like a small gift. We began pulling things out one by one. An old stuffed dinosaur with a loose seam on its tail, plastic cars still bearing the scratches of countless races across our living room floor, and drawings with bright crayon colors that spelled out "Mommy" in shaky letters. Each piece brought a flood of memories, laughter, and little sighs of nostalgia. "This was my favorite," Matthew said, holding up a small action figure. "I used to take it everywhere, didn't I?" "You sure did," I chuckled. "I once found it in the washing machine after you left it in your jeans pocket. I thought you'd cry for a week if I couldn't fix it." He laughed, and for a moment, I could still see the little boy he used to be, peeking through the tall young man he had become. As we dug deeper into the box, Matthew grew quieter. His hands slowed, and his eyes lingered on the photos more than before. He picked up one in particular, a picture of him in 3rd grade, standing in front of the science fair with a project board nearly twice his size. His smile was wide, but I remembered the day well. The nerves, the late-night glue sticking, the way he clung to my hand when we walked into the gymnasium filled with other kids and parents. "I almost forgot about this," he said softly. "I was so nervous that day." "You did amazing," I reassured him. "Your project was one of the best. I still remember how proud you were when the teacher praised your hard work." He nodded, but his expression stayed serious. After a moment, he placed the photo on his lap and looked at me. "Mom, can I tell you something? Something I've been meaning to say for a while." I felt a shift in the air, the kind of shift that tells you the conversation is about to step into deeper waters. I set aside the photo album I was holding and gave him my full attention. "Of course, honey. You can always tell me anything." Matthew hesitated, fidgeting with the edge of the photograph. His eyes glistened with the kind of vulnerability I hadn't seen in years, not since he was little and needed comfort after a bad dream. His voice dropped, softer than before. "I don't say it enough, but thank you. For everything you've done for me." The words caught me off guard. My throat tightened instantly, my heart leaping into an unexpected rhythm. "What do you mean?" I asked, though I already felt the weight of what he was trying to express. He leaned back, his gaze fixed on the ceiling for a moment before finding mine again. "You've always been there for me, Mom. Every game, every school thing, every time I messed up or thought I couldn't do something. You never gave up on me. And I know I don't always show it. I act like I don't need help sometimes, or like I just want to do things my own way. But I notice. I notice how much you've sacrificed, how hard you've worked just so I could have what I needed." Tears stung my eyes. My son, my teenage son, was speaking words I never expected to hear so plainly, so genuinely. "Matthew," I whispered, but he lifted his hand slightly, as if to say he wasn't finished. "I remember when you stayed up all night helping me finish my history project," he continued. "And when I got cut from the soccer team, and I thought my world was ending, you sat with me until I stopped crying. You told me that one failure doesn't define me. I didn't understand then, but now I see how much those moments shaped me. You made me believe in myself, even when I couldn't." And I don't think I've ever really told you how much that means to me." The room grew still. The box of childhood memories seemed to fade into the background, and all I could feel was the warmth of my son's words wrapping around me like a blanket. I reached out, placing my hand over his. "Matthew, you have no idea how much it means to hear you say that. Being your mom has been the greatest gift of my life. Every late night, every hard moment, it was worth it, all of it, because I got to watch you grow into who you are." He squeezed my hand, his eyes glossy but steady. "I know I'm not perfect, and I know I still have a lot to figure out. But I want you to know that I see you, Mom. I see everything you've done for me, and I carry it with me every day." At that point, I couldn't hold back my tears. They rolled freely down my cheeks as I pulled him into an embrace. He hugged me back, tighter than he had in years, and in that moment, I felt both the boy he used to be and the young man he was becoming. We sat there for a long while, holding each other, letting the silence speak what words couldn't. It wasn't just about gratitude. It was about love, about connection, about a bond that had weathered years of ups and downs and was stronger than ever. Later, as we continued sorting through the box, the mood felt lighter, warmer. We laughed more, sharing stories from his childhood, remembering little quirks and adventures we had nearly forgotten. But no matter what we uncovered in that box, nothing compared to the gift he had given me that day. The gift of his words, his acknowledgement, his love expressed so openly. That night, when I tucked the box away again, I realized it no longer just held his childhood memories. It now carried a new one that would stay with me forever. The moment my son told me, in his own words, just how much he valued everything I had poured into his life. I went to bed with my heart full, knowing that sometimes the most powerful moments don't come with grand gestures or perfect timing. They come when you least expect them, when you're simply helping your child, sitting on the floor surrounded by old toys and photos, and suddenly, they open their heart to you in a way that changes everything.